Today's video, we're going to talk about services landing pages or landing pages for service companies, whether that be local or national or regional services. This is how to put a landing page together. I'm going to talk about the order, specifically how to lay out information on your landing page so it communicates the three things that people need to know right up front to be able to convert at the highest rate possible. Do you do what they came for as a user and offer what they specifically need? Do you cover their area? And can they trust you? Those three things, the quicker you convey those things to the user and the clearer they are, the more people you're going to have to sell to at the end of the day. Then out of the total traffic you're driving to your website, and of which I'm going to explain exactly how to best lay out the information on your landing page to get them to understand it in 3, 4, 5 seconds. Right away when they hit the page, and making it so simple, which should be your goal, by the way, that a 10-year-old kid could understand those three things, and doing so in 8 seconds or less, because 8 seconds is the typical time that you have to convey these things most of the way before they're going to be ready to bounce off the page. Naturally, people stay longer than 8 seconds on a page, but if you don't convey those three things within 8 seconds, they're going to leave because you're not being clear enough to the user. So I will go through what the process is of laying this information out on the page, give you examples, talk about different use cases where we did this in different service markets, everything that you need to be able to have and get an excellent conversion rate on your services landing page by the end of the video, of which you can get landing page conversion rates of 60% in some markets with this layout, or obviously in a market where also it's going to be possible towing something where people don't need as much information and are more committed to the process going into the landing page, but at the very least be higher, that 3 times higher than anybody else in your local space or within your space in terms of average conversion rates in your space. So with that said, okay, the main thing I wanted to mention to you right up front is to, now that you know the 3 things that they always need to know, and if you can communicate these things quickly, you're going to do well. Do you do it, whatever they're coming to the page for? Do you cover their area, and can they trust you? What you really should be doing before you even make a landing page at all is identifying of the service that you provide and the different reasons why people buy that service. That is, sub-services you even offer, such as if you're a plumber. If you're going to hire a plumber, you might have a broken toilet, you may have a pipe leak, you may have a clogged drain. What you need to do, if you're, that is, have the luxury of doing this, you've been in business for a while, you need to go into your billing software and identify what is the most popular service where most of your revenue comes from, where it's the second most popular service, third most, fourth most, fifth most, and do this research because the order in which the stuff that most people are actually inquiring about should be the stuff that you mention first on that landing page, because that's going to contribute to your higher conversion rates than you could get any other way. So laying out information based upon what they need and then also what they likely want, being able to predict what they want and therefore lay that information out so that most people get what they want and need as quickly as possible when they hit that page, because the quicker they get it, the more you're going to make, higher your conversion rate is going to be. So with that said, okay, I laid out a mock landing page here so you can understand the flow on this page. The flow of the information conveys that information in simple terms and focuses on the most important stuff that people need first. Second most important stuff that people need to make a decision on whether to call or not is listed second, and so forth down the page. So there's 2 sections on your landing page, first and foremost, that you should understand as a landing page designer. There's something called above the fold, which is everything on the page that you can see without scrolling on your browser. And that is going to be about right here on our landing page. And then there's below the fold, stuff that you're not going to see until you scroll. Your goal is, at the very least, these 3 things that I mentioned right up front. Do you do it? Do you cover the area? And can they trust you? You communicate those 3 things before the user has to scroll. Why? Because that's going to by far give you the best conversion rate you can get, because those are the three most important things you need to convey, and you need to convey it as quick as possible, like I was mentioning before. So with that said, above the full, how do you lay this out, though, in as clear and concise possible terms as possible? And that is, you're going to use this basic formula right here that I've pioneered. Niche to niche, we'll lay it out a little bit different. We won't use this exact layout, but you can't go wrong with this if you have to pick a layout by randomly or as your starting point. First thing you're going to do, logo goes top left. Why? Because that's the default place everyone's going to look for a logo. Don't be playing around, putting it in the middle or the right-hand side of the page. The more you get fancy, the lower your conversion rate is going to be. Point blank, because people have certain expectations when they hit your landing page. You start missing expectations, it's going to eat into your conversion rate. So you're going to go logo top left every time. You're going to use telephone number top right, and you damn well need to have a phone number. I don't care how bad you don't want to answer the phone or hire someone to answer the phone. You're going to end up with half as much business most likely if you don't have a phone number. Not only just because some people have questions they just want to call or book through the phone, but the fact that you hide your phone number shows what kind of a business person you are. Yes, you can cuss at your screen, call me anything you want here. If you're not willing to talk to someone on the phone, you're showing to that potential consumer that if you have a problem, guess what? I'm going to force you to deal with me through email. And nobody wants to go through email for customer service. They just don't. You don't as a user, so why are you going to make your user do it? And yes, I know you could say, well, I don't have enough money to do this and that. The reality is, if you can't afford to pay somebody to answer the phone, you damn well answer the phone until you can. So you have the phone number top right, and then in the middle between the phone number and the logo, you're going to say the time you've been in business. Unless you've just opened up shop yesterday or within the last 3 years, time in business goes top center. Why? Because that conveys in very quick terms how much you should be trusted. If you've been in business 30 years, people automatically deduct from that you should be trusted more than anything else. The second most easiest way to convey trust, the first of which being your average review rating on all the industry review sites or general review sites that review businesses like yours. Yelp, Google, business, whether if you're talking about Clutch being one for the marketing space, whatever is most relevant for your space. You're going to list that above the fold as well, and not just list that you got good reviews there, but I have a 4.7 on Clutch. I have a 4.9 on Yelp. I have a 5.0 on Google. And you list 3 different sources. So you show to the user, I'm not just trusted on one platform, I'm trusted everywhere. Or that's the so-called deduction that people are going to make here. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but you always want that below your header section of the page. Again, this should still be visible without having to scroll. But on your section, between the average review score at each one of the places that you're reviewed, and the top of the page where you have the logo and phone number and time of business, you're going to have the headline on the left side. Why left side? Because people read left to right on the page. Then you're going to have your subheadline below it, and then your offer. If you're doing plumbing services, like I mentioned before, you're going to say, if they typed in plumbing services, or assuming you're doing search engine ads, they typed in plumbing services Dallas, you wanted to say plumbing services Dallas on that headline, not something else. And the closer you get to what they actually typed in and what was on the headline of the ad to what's on the headline of your landing page, the higher your conversion rate is going to be. Most of the time. There's some exceptions. For the most part, that's the case. Because you have to convey right away, do you do what they came for before you get into anything else? Because that's the first thing they're always going to be looking for. Do you actually do what you said you did on the ad and what I need ultimately? Subheadline should be, plumbing services, Dallas, offering guaranteed $69, plumbing services in Dallas. So your subheadline is like differentiation point, your claim to fame. And then the offer is actually optional, but you'll almost always get a higher conversion rate if you have an offer. Our May special when calling for 10% off your order. Why? Because it builds urgency. Building urgency prevents people from leaving and saying, maybe there's something else better. If you're offering something to me on this ad right now, I may not remember to come back to it or can't find it, so I should just respond now. And therefore you'll get more calls. Then directly underneath the offer, the button, call to action button, the button, you click it, It automatically takes you to the form lower down the page or in a light box, the form, so they can respond. Because some people are going to want to fill out a form, some people are going to want to call. You offer both because you're going to get the most leads if you offer both. The hero image should be on the right-hand side. The easiest way to do get the highest conversion rate possible for services is you either have a vehicle with the wrap on it that shows your logo, or you show a fleet of vans or a fleet of employees. Like my favorite is a top-down view, from a drone, to show all your staff and how big your company is. Either that's going to work the best, or it's going to be, which is generally this way, somebody doing the service. So if it's a tax service, you show an individual working on taxes. Or if it's a broken toilet repair, you show some serviceman, ideally with your company shirt on, because that's the most trusting and it's clearly a real picture, working on a toilet. Why? Because that's going to most quickly convey that you do what they came for. So even if you were not able to read, you can already tell just from the photo that you do what they came for. That should be your goal with that photo. Like I said, sometimes the shot of all the staff with all the equipment laid out in front of the staff, or the vehicle with the fancy wrap on it, will actually do better than the showing the person delivering the service. And that is because it is in a space that has so low trust in it. In a space like, let's say, matchmaking services, professional matchmaking services. It's a low trust space. So anything that will get the user to trust you more will typically be better. So in that particular case, I'm going to want to show our 50 staff because that's going to get better results. Or another one would be in answering services. Everybody's hired 2 of them before and got bad results. We're going to show the staff there instead. So anyway, that's the basic general formula that works the most, and it should be your at least your starting point for what you're doing on your services page. Now, and this works for national or regional or local services. You have your average review rating underneath that. Then below the average review rating, you're going to have, what you do. And this is where the research on what is the services that are the most popular and second most popular and third most popular and so forth is going to come in, and you're going to use it. That is, we do plumbing services, broken toilets, and unclogging drains, and you're going to list in order of popularity there. What I usually do is I'll have a grid pattern, and for broken toilets, instead of saying broken toilets in a bullet point list, I'm going to get better results showing somebody fixing a broken toilet with the text broken toilet repair underneath it. And I'm going to do a grid pattern, 3 across, 2 down, and if we have a lot of services, I might do 3 across and then 3 down. Listing, again, the most popular service, second most, third, and that's what you're going to do there. Why? Because even though my headline might say broken toilet repair Dallas, if that's what they were originally looking for on Google search, I want my headline to say that. But within that, there's different types of broken toilet repair. Cracked bowl, I'm just making stuff up here, clogged with hair, I don't know, whatever it is. This section is going to mention each type of broken toilet repair. And if you're getting into the point where you're making a page for each, because of the 9 different plumbing services that are the most popular, you should have one template for each one of those. And so when you get down to this section, it should actually break down of those sub-services, the separate sub-services within that for just broken toilet repair. We'll have one page, like in the plumbing space, we'll have one page just for drain unclogging. And then when you get to the we do section here, it's all the different types of unclogging we do. Bathtubs, sewer, and on and on. If you want to really crush it, that's what you want to do with your landing page. The next section is going to be your call to action with your contact form. And you're going to say what you're going to get by contacting us. So many people just say contact us. That's lame in and itself. Contact us and get immediate response, lowest prices in the industry, money back guarantee, blah, blah, blah. And I'll have a bullet point list next to the form being on the right side, bullet point list on the left. Then the next section should be, and sometimes it'll be video/images. I like to do like before and afters, depending on what niche it is, showing installs, what was there before the install, what was there after. Somebody's, like if it's matchmaking, showing the happy couples that we've helped form, photos. Do another grid pattern where you'll do 3 and 2 down or 3 and 3 down. Before and afters work great. If you don't have before and afters, just afters are going to work great. And but sometimes the testimonial section will go before that. But the testimonial should be headshot, first and last name, link to the social profile of the person, and the testimonial quote if you want to get the most results. And actually get even more results if you get a video testimonial, because those people know are impossible to fake, or so to say, impossible to fake. And to get those, it's real simple. You ask people, once they say they'll leave you a review, and you start having a process to ask for reviews after every delivery of every service you have. And if they say yes, say, I want you to take your phone out and record a simple 1-minute video of you answering these 2 to 3 questions, which is, why did you hire us? What did you like about us? Would you recommend us to others, and why? Then they send you the video back, and then instead of the testimonials, the text testimonials, you have 4 video testimonials, and that will make you even more money. You'll convert at an even higher rate then. So you have that, and then you have some more before and afters. After it, you're going to do extremely well. This is why you're going to convert 3 times better than your competition. Your competition's average conversion rate, because you're being just basically so helpful. The more helpful you are to the user to help make a decision right away, the more money you make. So you have those 2 sections, and then below that, sometimes depending on how complicated the service is, and like for instance, if we're asking somebody to come into a winery and it's a big kind of commitment, if you will, we'll have a full width video section where it's a video like in behind the scenes of like what you're going to get when you come here, or if it's a drug rehab, we'll do that type of thing. And an added section, if you will. Again, if it's a really high dollar service, we might have another section that talks about why our service is specifically better than our competition. The bigger the commitment, the more information they're going to need before they're willing to fill out the form. The key thing is though, you put this stuff after your main call to action, so that if they were scrolling, that means they want more information. Well, you're going to give them more information. And on top of that, what you want to do typically is if you're going to say why you're better than the competition, you have that section, and then there's a link for them to learn more and take them to a whole other webpage with even more information so that they can self-select how much information they want. You're not bogging down 80% of the people that only need a little bit of information on why you're the best, but the other 20% that wants more and don't like your light touch of information that was given. You give them as much information as they want, like a buffet. You want a little, you want a lot. Here's as much as you want if you want it. If not, you're just like everybody else, most other people. Here's the main bullet point on why we're the best. Then after that section, and you can add those other sections if you think you need it or you want to test it that way. You have your footer area, or not really your footer, but who we are, map, full legal name, address, phone number, and then a call to action to call us, fill out the form. And that's basically what you want for the final section there. So that's your basic formula. And that's going to be my go-to, and should be your go-to as well, for super high conversion rates on what you're doing. If we're talking about a local, let's say restoration services, where we're going to do crime scene cleanup and that kind of thing, we're going to get 15-20% response rates on our page easily with a page like this. Or for a matchmaking service, we're at 15% as well. If we're talking about a towing service, we're talking about 60% conversion rates. If we're talking about custom cabinetry design and installation, we're talking about 5 to 6% conversion rates, which is triple the average. So to give you some idea of how well this actually works. Yes, this is a lot of work to get it all set up right. The beauty about it is once it is set up right, it works and it works and it works, and it's going to probably pay off for you for the next 10 years. If you want to make really good money with running ads for your business online, 70% of the equation is going to be down to the landing page and the effectiveness of the landing page in and itself. 30% is your ads. So you can hope and wish you can hire a PPC manager person that is the wizard at managing PPC ads. If they don't know jack shit about making landing pages, they may not even be able to make you a profit. But even if they are, you're just skimming the surface on the possibilities without them also being a landing page expert or just knowing about landing pages. And frankly, most people who understand PPC well, they don't know shit about landing pages. So you need to have a landing page expert do it. Sometimes you'll have people that know a lot about PPC and landing pages, but it's rare. I can tell you that from firsthand experience being in the space. So with that said, though, that gives you a very useful starting point of what to do, what it actually takes to have triple the average conversion rates in your space, given that the average person's not going to want to do nowhere near the work necessary to help their users out at that level. Therefore, if you do it and users always basically like this, you're going to end up with triple the conversion rate than anybody else in your space for the same people, same traffic. And because you can monetize the traffic at a higher rate than anybody else, you can pay more for a click than anybody else, and you'll hog a greater portion of the business in your space and the traffic in your space is available to get by anybody in your space. And when you're talking about like something like Google search ads, you're talking about Google wants to send all the traffic they can to the top players in terms of click-through rate and conversion rate. You simply are going to show Google you're better than anybody else in terms of helping their users, and they're going to want to send not only just as much as traffic as possible to you, but the people that they know as the most serious buyers. They actually give the benefit of the doubt to the people that are helping their users the most to encourage them to stick around by giving the person that they know is most statistically likely to convert to that person. And they know who's likely to convert, who's not, because they can see everything that person's ever done before they made that search and how much money they have and so forth. And just through trial and error and knowing and looking at what works and what doesn't work in the past for people that have also advertised for your keywords, they're either going to give you the person that they know isn't likely to convert because they don't really want you to stick around, or they're going to give it the one that is. It actually completely fundamentally changes the entire everything you're going to experience with Google Ads once you have this landing page that has triple the average conversion rates added to even an average PPC campaign setup. I promise you, the money, even if you had to spend $5-10 grand to get this set up through a landing page expert, it'd be worth every penny because you're going to make that in profit every month once your campaign is broken in. Google sees this and they start pouring all the people most likely to convert on you. I've seen it again and again. We've set up hundreds of these landing pages now in the last 10 years. I know it many, many times over. So instead of having to hire us, you can just do what I do. Or if you want to hire us, we'll put one together for you and it'll be worth it. It's your choice. But anyway, with that said, that is why, first of all, you want to invest in a landing page, what you can gain from it, how to do it, and how landing pages are key in making any online ad campaigns work, given they're 70% of the equation on how much you actually make from ads and if they'll even be profitable for you to begin with. Because you obviously have to do so well just to cover the cost of the ad spend and the overhead of whatever you're offering as far as the service and salaries and everything else. So, but with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. If you have any questions, by the way, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. If you are first of all, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, you absolutely should. The information I'm sharing with you on this channel is coming from somebody who spends 40 hours a week doing ad testing on just figuring out what works and what doesn't work on all the available ad platforms online, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so forth, which is rare because 99% of the information you see put out about ad strategy online is from people who don't run ads, or they run very little ads, or they do 1 or 2 ads, but they don't really run anything else besides that, which is not enough to give you, advice on what works and what doesn't work. They're basically all frauds, in other words, for lack of a better way of explaining it. So if you're serious about making money with ads online, and you are going to pay attention to anybody, this is the channel that you want to pay attention to. It's better information that you're going to find elsewhere online because it's coming straight from the source. So you should subscribe. Furthermore, you can also find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog. The blog itself has step-by-step guides on how to actually execute ad strategies that are proven to work basically every time on any account that you would like to apply them to. Whereas this channel is more high-level information, the blog itself has step-by-step instructions and advice to execute certain strategies we lean on at our firm to guarantee results for our clients with screenshots, with everything you need to execute those strategies. So if you like the channel, you should definitely check out the blog as well. Beyond that, if you want somebody to just execute these strategies for you, this is exactly what we do at our firm for our clients. And we do not charge clients fees unless we can get you a lift in profitability on your campaigns up front, which is our signature part of our service and which makes it unique or different than any other PPC service out there, which should tell you then, as a result of that, what kind of quality of information we're providing for you on this channel. But if you want to see if we can work together We don't work with just any client. We got to know we can do well with that client in order to offer them a guarantee like that. But if you want to see if we can work together, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com, and I'd be happy to give you a free assessment to look over what the possibilities might be. As a side, if you're not looking to work with an ad agency, you like to get your own hands dirty, manage your own campaigns, that's cool. But if we worked in your niche market before, you would do yourself a huge favor by just taking all the ad templates and landing page templates and everything else that we've already put together for your niche market already that we know perform. Buy those from us, copy and paste them into your account, and get the same results we're getting with it, with none of the work, none of the time, none of the money that we had to spend to figure out what was the best possible way to run ads in your niche market already in a different geographic area. We got people using these templates to start whole other businesses. They're working so well right off the bat. It's literally a copy and paste thing. If you want to sell plumbing leads, take our template to sell plumbing leads and have a turnkey business right out of the box. If you want to get into e-commerce, sell a product that our client sells in a country that you're not in, and you have turnkey e-commerce results, which you can take that product, get it made in China, and because you guys aren't competing in the same geographic market, there's no reason you can't do that. If you were looking to get in e-commerce, that's the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, and basically that's truth. But anyway, we've worked in over 100 niche markets in the last 10 years, so the chances are high we've already worked in your market. And I can tell you the results we got in your market before you bought the template from us. So if you're interested in that opportunity, you can also reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. But with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.